All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that literally keeps compliance officers and call center directors staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. We're talking about global call compliance. We're going to completely transform how you handle this, turning what is usually a massive, anxiety-inducing headache into a streamlined, legally airtight operation.
Because here's a question we've all got to ask ourselves honestly. Is your global call center actually compliant, or are you just walking blind into a massive fine? Think about it. If your agents are talking to customers across different countries, states, and legal zones, do you truly understand that web of global recording laws? A single, momentary slip-up by one agent can trigger a multi-million-dollar penalty. For a lot of organizations, the answer is a nervous maybe. And as we all know, in the compliance world, maybe just means no.
So what's the lifeline here? It's what we call the version 10/10 framework. Think of this 4-quadrant matrix as your ultimate cheat sheet. It's designed to be completely legally sound and, more importantly, operationally deployable. It solves every compliance gap you're going to face, taking you all the way from high-level legal theory straight down to the practical, day-to-day reality of the call center floor.
Here is how we're breaking it down today. 1. The global compliance minefield. 2. Closing legal and factual gaps. 3. Practical scripts for agents. 4. Managing edge cases and tech. And 5. Safety and breach protocols. Let's get to it.
The global compliance minefield.
Section 2. Closing legal and factual gaps.
Picture this. An agent is talking to a customer in London, then someone in California, and 20 minutes later, someone in Cape Town. Bouncing between these jurisdictions without a solid map is an absolute minefield. We aren't guessing anymore. We are mapping specific regions directly to their operative laws. If you're in the EU, you're bound by GDPR. Over in the UK, it's UK GDPR plus PECR. Looking at the US, you've got federal TCPA, but also tricky state-level laws like California's CCPA and CPRA. Moving around the globe, South Africa relies on POPIA, India has the DPDP Act of 2023, and Pakistan has the PDPB 2023. You absolutely have to know which rulebook applies the second that call connects, all supported by frameworks like ISO 27701 and SOC 2.
But look, it's not just about dropping acronyms. It's about actually closing the gaps those laws create. Take PECR for UK outbound marketing. Your agents absolutely must identify the client they are calling on behalf of. No exceptions. With Pakistan's PDPB, we're looking at anticipatory compliance, making sure you're ready for pending Gazette notifications so you aren't caught off guard. And then there's the heavyweight, MiFID II and FCA COBS 11.8. For you financial services folks, pay close attention. You need a dedicated recording lawful basis with incredibly strict 5 to 7 year retention rules. And the real kicker? 0 consent overrides are permitted. The customer literally cannot opt out of being recorded if they want to do business.
Section 3. Practical scripts for agents.
Let's translate that heavy legal theory into what your agents are actually saying out loud. We start with the baseline for a standard inbound call. Thank you for calling. This call may be recorded for quality and training purposes. Do you consent to continue? This establishes a really safe standard flow for gaining initial consent across most general jurisdictions. It's polite, it's super clear, and it puts the choice right in the caller's hands.
Now, flip that over to financial services. It sounds entirely different. Under FCA COBS 11.8 and MiFID II, this call must be recorded and retained for 5 years. If you do not consent, we cannot proceed. See that massive shift? In highly regulated sectors, standard pleasantries go out the window, replaced by strict legal ultimatums. It's no longer may be recorded, it's must. Your agents have to know exactly when to use which tone.
And outbound calls? A whole different beast. A standard outbound script just announces the recording. But look at U.S. two-party consent states, like California. The agent has to explicitly ask for permission, and then, and this is a real game changer operationally, they literally have to stop talking, wait, and listen for a clear, verbal yes. If they just read the script and steamroll right through, boom, you are in violation. The script dictates the behavior.
Section 4. Managing edge cases and tech.
Look, humans are unpredictable, right? Calls go off script all the time. You need automatic protocols for those edge case escalations, so agents don't panic or start making up their own rules. Language barrier? Immediately route to an interpreter line. Caller is hard of hearing? Switch to TTY or relay services. Got a third party on the line? You must verify their authority before discussing a single detail. And if it's a minor, terminate and escalate. Agents shouldn't have to think about this. It has to be pure muscle memory.
But hey, even the best trained humans make mistakes. That's exactly where telephony enforcement comes in. We highly recommend configuring your enterprise systems, whether that's Genesys, Avaya, or NICE, as recording off by default. This is such a brilliant tech failsafe. It means the system only records when deliberate action is taken. It completely eliminates agent discretion. You're literally taking that massive burden of legal compliance off the human agent's shoulders and hardwiring it directly into your infrastructure.
Section 5. Safety and Breach Protocols.
Finally, we build the last wall of your fortress, because tech fails and breaches happen. If a breach does occur, the clock doesn't just tick, it sprints. Step 1. You have a tight 24-hour window for a rapid internal assessment. Figure out exactly what data leaked. Step 2. You have a hard 72-hour deadline to notify regulatory authorities, like the ICO in the UK. This rapid pivot from assessment to official notification is totally non-negotiable. You cannot be scrambling in a boardroom trying to figure out your protocol while that 72-hour timer is breathing down your neck.
Which leads us to one pretty uncomfortable question. Is your current call framework a true version 10 out of 10, or are you leaving massive, dangerous gaps wide open? Take a really hard look at your vulnerabilities today. Are your agents actually trained on those strict MiFID II ultimatums? Is your tech genuinely set to recording off by default? Would you actually survive a 72-hour breach sprint? If the answer is no, what exactly are you going to do about it tomorrow? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.